Good Erev Shabbos, dear community family. Again, a great pleasure to share a few words with you in honor of Shabbat and in preparation for this period of time. Just yesterday, we commemorated the beginning of a 3-week period of sadness, tragedy, mourning, and a really serious thinking pattern of our past and that which influenced sometimes the tragic journey of the Jewish people throughout history. We begin a 3-week period, beginning on the 17th of Tammuz, when traditionally the walls of Jerusalem were breached by the Romans, by the Babylonians. Though there are some difference of opinion whether it was the 9th of Tammuz, we accept it as the 17th of Tammuz. And that was the beginning of what we might consider a temporary end that ended 3 weeks later with the destruction and the burning of the Holy Temple and the banishing of the Jewish people from the Holy Land. At the first instance, to begin a short exile of 70 years in Babylon, who then returned to Israel to build the second temple. And during the second temple destruction in year 70 AD, a long exile that we are still unfortunately experiencing. It's during this 3-week period that the Jewish people do not celebrate. We do not create weddings, parties. We don't listen to musical events. We try not to shop for important factors. There are limitations on any aspect of joy, remembering that period of time. And it's not only a commemoration, it's a realization that exile is still here with us, sometimes in a more difficult state, actual banning, being tortured, persecuted, etc., that has happened so many times in history. And it's during this 3-week period of time that we say special prayers. The anchor of this period is the 17th of Tammuz, which was yesterday on Thursday, and the 9th of Menachem Av, the 9th day of Av, when we sit literally on a low chair, when we fast for 24 hours, when we do not shower or have any kinds of pleasures, because we commemorate and we re-experience the tragic reality of the Jewish people's history. But within all of those times and prayers, we recognize that we live with hope, resilience, and a positive outlook, that anything that happens to the Jewish people is directed primarily by Almighty God as the world goes through a very necessary tension of having to reconstruct its own moral, ethical values. And we, the Jewish people, are a light unto the nations and have to set the standard for that kind of life. This Shabbos we read the Parashat of Pinchas. Pinchas was a man who was a zealot. He took the law into his own hands in a sense, though the law was with him. Nonetheless, it was difficult to rule in such a way as having to take almost a violent act to protest the behavior of the Jewish people who had fallen prey to the seductions of a society that tried to undermine the holiness, the sanctity of the Jewish people. And Pinchas smote the prince of the tribe of Shimon, smote the princes of Midian, because they were ones who set the example for the rest of the community. And yet, we read in today's portion that God gives this man a gift of priesthood forever. And with priesthood comes the gift of peace, tranquility, internal sense of quietness, peace of mind and soul. How does that reconcile? Until that time, only Kohen that was legally, rightfully appointed to that role was Aaron and his sons and their offspring. none of the cousins, none of the nephews. At this moment, Pinchas became a Kohen. What is the hallmark of the Kohen? A Kohen is loving peace, pursuing peace, bringing peace between man and his friend, between husband and wife, being a man of peace. How does that comport with his zealousness? Peace also requires strength, also requires energy, also requires non-compromising values. You don't make peace by becoming weak and acquiescing to everybody around you that says, you do like I do, I'll give you peace. But if you maintain your strong positions, there's no peace. The Torah says the Kohen, the priest of the Jewish people, he promotes peace, but he recognizes that without strength and the kind of power that the Jew has to withstand any kinds of challenges, there can never be real peace. So during this 3-week period, we begin with a sense of knowing that our objective is to bring peace to the world, to bring goodness, kindness, holiness, gentleness, and everything positive to the world. But at the same time, to retain a sense of positivity and strength and non-compromising values, to the values of the Torah. May we have a great Shabbos. May these 3 weeks be transformed to 3 weeks of joy, the rebuilding of the temple, and the coming of Mashiach. Shabbat Shalom.